Serious people who've had sex with their so/ex/friend's parent. How the hell did you get to that point? What happened after? Good God, the US is just waking up, and the amount of predatory moms from the UK already is disturbing. I'm on mobile, so apologies for the formatting. I was at a friend's birthday party. My friend was in her mid-20s. I was 30. Her mom was in her early 50s. She and her mom took really good care of me after my father passed. They made sure I was eating and that I actually left the apartment every day, as I was prone to just sit around being a depressed sad sack. Friend's mom and I used to get stoned together. So when we were at her daughter's birthday party at her mom's house, she called me to her room so we could smoke a joint. She didn't want to do it in front of everyone, and it definitely wasn't the first time we'd gotten a little high together. So it was somewhat familiar territory. Maybe it was the weed, or the wine, or both. But as we're smoking and chatting, I just leaned in and kissed her. To my surprise, she kissed me back, and we proceeded to make out like a couple of horny teenagers on the love seat in her bedroom. She stopped for a moment, looked at me and said, "Well, had I known you were interested, we could have done this a long time ago." We made out a little more, and I told her that we should stop because we're going to get caught. So we kissed and groped one another a little more, and returned to the party. The next day she stopped by my apartment to see how I was doing, which wasn't uncommon. That day was slightly different. She was always a very good-looking woman, but that day she had more carefully applied makeup, some nice-looking earrings, and a blouse that showed off more cleavage than usual. I invited her in and we were off to the races. We both had a great time, but I thought of my friend and said that we probably shouldn't do this again. She didn't really respond to it and we continued to cuddle for a while. The next day she called me and said that she thought she may have lost her earring on my bed or my couch, which I thought was BS. But it turns out that the earring was indeed in between the cushions of my couch. She came over to retrieve it and we went at it again. And again. And again. This went on for months until I finally was moving out of state. It never happened again. We never spoke of it, and my friend never found out. Sadly, my friend's mom passed 5 years ago. I'd thought about telling her, but it just seemed like a bad idea. Rip Julie. You were smoking hot and just an all-around great woman. Oh. This became very sad. Maybe the only actually sweet story on here. P.S. Not telling her is most definitely the right move. Maybe the real sex was the earrings we found along the way. No. I want my peeping earrings. Friend's mom going through some tough times with her husband. Accidentally added one of our friends on Facebook. She started flirting with him and eventually they've peeped. After this kept going on for a couple of months, dude decided to tell his friend's son about it. At his house, the son cried. They threw hands at each other and everything was alright moments later. Don't really know what happened after that. Lost contact with both of them. One of my first girlfriends in high school. Her mom used to seriously tell her that she should give me her virginity. Often. Then mom started flirting with me. One day while at their house, mom grabbed me in the hallway and kissed me. After we split up, mom used to still call me every now and then. One time asked if I wanted to come over and hang out. I did and mom got my virginity. Fine. I'll do it myself. Beep it. We'll do it live. When I was 20, I got accepted to university in Canada. I'm a French guy and my mum put together a barbecue to celebrate it with my best friends, among which was my actual best friend girl my age. who lived far so she would stay the night. My mum and dad were already getting divorced and sleeping in separate rooms back then. So there was no doubt they will ever get back to normalcy in terms of their relationship. After most people left and I was drunking my way around talking about Canada with another friend. My now former best friend and my dad made sure my mum went to bed and carried on drinking together. All I remember after is me trying to figure out where the hell my friend was in the morning as the guest room was empty. It took so much fighting denial to realize she had been sleeping with my dad all night. Mum was destroyed. So was I. They both denied it and said they just talked. I still cannot believe this happened, but with retrospective my dad has been such a crap dad to his kids and wife, and that friend has not been nice to me either. My dad slept with my best friend when I was 15. It caused my parents' divorce. They actually got married when she turned 18. But they both cheated so much it didn't last. In other words, I feel your pain. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's a roller coaster from start to finish. Sorry mate. Right? 3-sentence roller coaster, that's impressive. My first serious girlfriend's mom used to text me every day after me and her daughter broke up. Just friendly stuff at first. Talking about music and other mutual interests, and I used her to keep tabs on what my ex was doing because I was dumb 16-year-old kid. Eventually it led to her telling me how much I reminded her of her high school boyfriend that killed himself, and she went on to tell me she lost her virginity to him and how much she loved him. Then things took a turn. She started sending very sexual texts which turned into nudes and phone sex and plans to hook up. Eventually I ended up walking away from it all before anything really happened. I didn't think much of it back then, but looking back at it now, I was a 16-year-old heartbroken boy and she was a 40-year-old married woman. So that's pretty f***ed up to think about now. Basically groomed and taken advantage of by someone I thought was my friend. This reminds me of the mom of my cousin's wife. When her kids were younger, they used to bring home kids from school that had it really rough in their life. She would talk with them and help them. But one thing that was interesting she mentioned was that she was glad to have parents around who would initiate physical contact with them. She said she knew these youngsters needed physical contact since some of them had been feeling lonely or mistreated for a while. But she said she couldn't be the one giving it to them. Now reading these comments, I understand what she meant by that. Parrots. Yeah. She had all kinds of birds and animals in her house. Most common of course were budgies and cockatiels. They would run around and cuddle up to people. We had cockatiels who would land on you and try to grind their cloacas on you until they came. I still feel traumatized by those flying rape rats. Edits. Thanks for the awards. I do not hate birds. I just don't want them to try and beep me. Pretty much the way I feel about all animals with the exception of humans. Depending on how you take care of them, they can become sexually frustrated and act like that. If you ever have a parrot, I would recommend only to pet them on the head, because petting them anywhere else is the equivalent length of stroking them. I was not expecting today to be the day I learn how to sexually stimulate a bird. A friend of mine's mom basically hit on a number of us in the group, and sadly it just became kind of a matter of time before one of us caved, and it eventually happened. He saw it coming. I feel bad for him. Recently divorced mid-30s hot mom and a group of 18-year-olds. It wasn't me who did it. I went to HS with a kid whose mom was like this. She'd let him throw big parties and she would get topless in the hot tub with teenagers. It was extremely awkward because most of us didn't want to go in the backyard when she was out there because we didn't feel comfortable. Several of his friends had sex with her, and one of them ended up dating her for like 5 years and moving with her to LA. It was very bizarre.
Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.